Okay, hi. Welcome to another edition of Teleios Power Hour. I'm your host, Erwin Williams. To be already shared that today we're looking at some principles in object-oriented development. But just before that, this is Teleios Power Hour, and we have a few things we'd like to get out of the way before we continue. The first time we're starting a sort of a new segment. It'll be done by Ryan Tripat. So Ryan, are you ready? All right, if he's speaking, Ryan, we're not hearing you. As in the meantime, while he joins, I'll kind of point you to what we're doing. Oh, Ryan's not in call yet. Just 1 sec as Ryan joins. Because while Ryan joins, when he comes in, he'll share that is news for us. I said we're looking at solid principles. What's solid? Well, we have joining us a bunch of software developers and engineers from Teleios Systems. So let me ask somebody else to help me out. Aaron, how you going? Can you talk?
Yes, can you hear me?
Great, I'm hearing you fine. So we're talking about solid. Solid are principles of object-oriented development. Now, what does solid stand for?
Solid principles. Well, it's a what you would call a oh gosh an
Acronym?
acronym is the word I
Yeah,
was looking for, right? It's an
nice.
acronym for principles that uses object-oriented programming and design.
Right.
So as the letters suggest, there are 5 principles in the acronym, and the first one, S, means single responsibility principle.
All right, cool. And I'll stop there. Thanks, Aaron. So if this one, we start with single responsibility. Um,
Yes.
then you move on to O, which is classes in object-oriented design should be uh, open for extension and closed for modification. Extension as in behaviors of inheritance. Um, L is the list of substitution principle. I represents interfaces and the fact that you should use interfaces throughout your solutions to represent how you abstract problems and solutions when you're solving them. And D stands for dependency inversion. We'll kind of come back to that as we go on, but today we hope that in the exercise we're trying to do, we would be demonstrating how to think about solid, how we think about it, and how we are growing as a firm by using these principles to build our solutions. But before we continue, Ryan, I see you're on. Great. And your audio is fine?
I hope so.
Yeah, you sound fine. So,
Great.
Ryan, you want to take us through your first segment?
Oh, I hadn't realized that I was up first, but I'll go ahead anyway, minus the theme music. So I'll go ahead and share my screen. Let's go. Hang on. All right. So whatever, well, it's more, I want to say it's educational, but maybe it's not. And but it'll be useful anyway. So here we have it. It was this video I found via the .NET Rocks podcast this week. It's quicksort with the Hungarian folk dance. So if you look at it, we have a bunch of. It's much better with the audio. I'm sorry I couldn't provide you with the audio, but um, essentially it's a bunch of people who are unordered, and they're demonstrating how to perform a quicksort using a folk dance. There are different variations on this. You can see number 3 and number 4 are facing off here, and 4 has decided to go back into the ranks, and 4 is facing off with number 3 here. He's going to go back in. He's going to dance back into his position. Number 2 and number 3 are facing off here, and what do you think is going to happen? This is a quick sort, so they're going to face off here, and 2 is going to swap with 3. Highly educational, and
Good.
with that, we conclude this week's edition of Cloudy with a slight chance of news.
Thank you, Ryan.
That chance was very slight.
It was very slight. this segment we will build a lot more as we just, I guess, share things we found online or bits of information we discover that may be useful to other developers as well. So if you're with me, you can head over to this URL and you can download that those projects. They represent the start of a simple solution that Anand had delivered to us here at Teleios. Here in that solution, and let me pull it up on my helper machine here. In that solution, Anand was essentially saying, let's make this as object-oriented as we can. And the thing that if you click on the link, you will see its solution files for our episode. In this episode, developers are going to apply principles. Let me just share my screen. Right. Great. Let me know when you guys are seeing.
Yeah.
Nice. So when you come to GitHub, you'll see it's a project that has a couple of solution files and two folders, liquid and solid. We decided to explore solid because though we've been writing code for a while, most of us been out of school for a while, where we may have first met object-oriented design. For us, writing code may have just been write it as well as it works. Maybe things deliver whatever functionality we agree to deliver and move on. In some reading I was doing, saying that that's not actually that's not strange. It's a part of development. You make the thing work, and then you refactor till you get to a place where you're satisfied with the output, how it actually is designed. So, kind of like what had happened with this exercise, Anand gave us essentially this requirement. These requirements and requirements. One, build an app that takes error logs and distributes them somewhere else. So there were like 4 requirements or requests for the app to fulfill. Send logs to a manager, read a text file of logs, and if you're doing software, more than likely you're producing applications that generate logs. Generates logs and typically writing to a flat file. So his requirements were your file may contain title, message, and timestamp. Once the file is read, I'll send an email to a manager with those logs. Second request was, suppose now you had an XML formatted file, because we also do that. Sometimes you can automatically generate XML and produce a file that will need to be consumed by something else. Alternatively, the logs are generated in text files, and request 3 says store those logs in a database. And finally, for the particular requirement he gave to us, support posting the logs to some other channel, such as Slack or Microsoft Teams or Facebook Messenger or some other sort of interaction like that. So we built out at least requirements request 1, 2, and 3, and we wanted to explore them further in Power Live by fulfilling these requests here inside of the requirements section 2. So our engineers and Teleios approached it in different ways. When I was talking to Akash about this, Akash was like, why don't you just write it and make it work? And at first, when he mentioned it, I was like, fine for that, do something solid. But then I thought, no, that's actually a good idea, make the thing work. So when you open up you follow the liquid approach, you just see a single program CS file, and that implementation is what you would need to get at least requests 1, 2, and 3 started. He didn't implement everything, but for the most part, the structure is there to fulfill the requirements of the request. That's actually not a bad idea. Make the thing work, make it deliver some version of the functionality. And as you go on, you might find yourself building out a solid approach that's a bit more complex. Let me ask then Anand and Akash, because they both worked on aspects of the solution, to sort of describe how it works. the first requirements 2, the section we call requirements 2, which has a second group of requirements that may help us explore whether leaving the approach as liquid or making it a bit more solid actually helps in the long run. And Akash, you guys ready?
Hey guys. Hey Ryan. What's up? Alright. So I guess I'll take it away. So the first thing, I guess I could share my screen so I could show you some stuff. You want me to take you through just the design, or what else you want to hear about?
You know what? You know what? Let's probably start with Akash because Akash is talking to Liquid, right?
Yeah.
So it's a simpler one.
Yep.
So we could probably see what we could call the brute force version of it. Let's get anything done. We can talk about it, just how it works, how it meets the requirements, and then we'll come back to Alan to show us his vision.
Hi. You'll hear me properly?
Yeah, man.
Okay, cool. I'm just sharing my screen. Let me know when you'll see it. See you, right?
Yep.
Okay. So, based on the requirements, I built out this simple console app just to kind of get things working as quickly as possible. So, um, it's pretty simple. So all I did was I split up the requirements into its own set of methods. So for requirement one, which is to read read logs from a text file, I just have this method um, that does that. So it reads the logs and creates message objects. And there's an email method. So all it does is it reads the logs and it uses the email method to send out those messages that were pulled from the logs. Um, so that kind of fulfills requirement one, and the rest of requirements were implemented simply using methods. So I have I read logs as XML, I read logs from the database, and
Hi,
for
hi
the
Akash, could you use a bigger font, please?
oh sorry. Okay, yeah. Let me know if you see it better now.
Yeah, that's perfect.
Okay, great. So I have the requirements to read logs from the database is just a separate method, and to send via Slack is just a separate method. So in its simplest and most bare bones form, this will fulfill all of the requirements, and it only uses one source code file. So that was my approach. Just get it done as quickly as possible. Forget about design patterns. Forget about splitting things up in any kind of solid way, and yeah, just make it work.
All right, great. Thanks, Akash. Alan, you want to show how your solution works?
Yeah, okay. I'm just gonna share my screen. You can let me know when you guys are seeing my wonderful class diagrams. Yeah, great.
Yes, do it in a bit just like Akash did.
Sorry.
More zoom.
Is that good enough? Can you see? Great. Okay. So what I did was I essentially started with um sending the notifications. And I came up with a notifier class, which I then subclassed into Slack notifier, email notifier, and Teams notifiers. Fun thing about the abstract class is you could do cool stuff, and I enjoyed that. I also had a bodybuilder class because I needed to build the body of the notification, so I just called it bodybuilder. And well, the method was you needed to work out how to get the body. So, and I called it Arnold too because he's the greatest bodybuilder ever. But anyway,
That was a stretch.
was it? That's unfortunate. So abstract class with one method called send. And for each log that it needs to send, we call this notify method, which is, can you guys see my code clearly?
It could be a little bigger, slightly
Okay.
bigger. Just press control and move your scroll thing. Nice.
So I a little more blind than Akash, so mine was kind of big by default. So what I was saying is that the notifier abstract class has one method, which for every log that it receives, it calls a notify method, and that notify method is actually abstract, leaving the subclasses to actually implement that method. This way, we get to control basically the algorithm for sending emails, and then leave the detail of sending the actual notification to the concrete classes that implement this abstract class. Also, we have this body builder here. So essentially, that just decides on the way that I want to display my message to the client. So I can let you see. I can let you see what that looks like. So all it does is just build up a set of lines with all the logs. If we wanted to, we could do fancy HTML, or you could put it in a table or something. But the good thing is, because this bodybuilder is behind the interface, at runtime or compile time or anytime, we can decide to change the implementation of the bodybuilder without actually interfering with the code in this notifier class, and that kind of fulfills the open close principle in Solid, as well as in dependency inversion as well. So that's the notifying part of it. The logs part was pretty simple. Essentially, I had an interface called log parser, and all it did is essentially with one method called parse. So, and it takes a location. So essentially, you take a location of a file, or potentially a database connection string, maybe, and essentially return you a list of the error logs it found in that location. So that's basically my design of my application. So, yeah,
All
that's
right,
it.
very cool stuff, both of you. So let's kind of head back over to the requirements, the things we want to get done for today. You went over to, sorry, we went over to our GitHub page. You see a list of requirements there. Essentially, you do support logging. There's the code is there to get it done, even if it's not actually going to database right now. And similarly, logging to a database, that is, and similarly posting to various teams. Now, if you looked at both solutions, see, there wasn't any testing that was presented. No automated tests, and it's one of the things that we are emphasizing more as we build out and push for quality in our solutions at Teleios. Unit tests, automated tests, and as far as possible trying to go after test-driven development. Since we have projects that would have been built and started even years ago, the idea of going for TDD for those existing things isn't practical for us. But we can, in going after fulfilling requirements that are new, write test projects and test solutions. So we wanted to go ahead and apply tests to these both solutions. So we have an Anand solution and an Akash's solution. What we've been calling in the office, sorry. We've been calling in the office loosely Team Liquid and Team Solid. So Akash, let's take a look at your solution, and just like how we kind of had started before, let's kind of go in a round robin approach and not convert, but write tests for Akash's solution based on the requirements, at least the requests 1 to 3 from Anand's original requirements. So if you go back to those requirements, you'll see it's send logs to a manager via email to a manager, which involves reading text file error logs with a particular format, the list being sent to a manager. So if we were to write unit tests for that, how would that work? So let me see. Let's ask. It's going to help them do that. Akash, who should we ask to help you compose these tests?
Let's go with Keisha.
Oh wow, great. So Keisha, what we want you to kind of direct Akash as to what he should do to compose a unit test to meet request 1 from Anand's original request.
Direct him. All right.
So Akash, I guess you could throw up your code on your machine. Sorry.
Okay. You'll see my screen by chance.
So the first requirement, this is to send logs via email to the manager, right? So we do need
Correct.
unit tests to read the logs and email logs. Great.
So in my mind, I wouldn't try to, of course, do a single test to capture all those things. You might want to consider a couple of tests. Well, so anyway, you do your thing.
Well, in that case, our first test should be to read the logs and make sure that we can output some form of error messages. Yeah.
Okay. So I'll just add the unit test project. Right, so we have our test can read logs from file.
So we had done a session a while back. I don't know if you guys remember. This was sometime last year, a long time ago maybe, where we were talking about how to compose unit tests, and there were 3 things. AAA. I don't know what it is.
Was arrange, act, and assert.
Yeah.
So the arranging part would be, well, you set up all your dependencies, all the stuff that you need to get the test done.
Yeah.
The acting part of it would have been, well, what we actually going to test, what function or method or pieces of functionality we going to test. And then, of course, the assert part as well, how we verify that the thing we acted upon actually works the way we expect it to work. Yeah?
Yes, that's it. That sounds like it. And you have a reference to the project already, Akash?
Yeah. Okay, so you all could guide me. This is the program class.
Right.
And this is the method that we have in question.
I think it'll be useful for everybody to actually have the projects downloaded on their machine. That way it'll be easy for you to kind of navigate where you need to navigate to help ask your questions and that kind of stuff.
Right. So just as a reminder then, you can head to GitHub, as the URL once more, and you can download that project. So let me show you. Yes, you head to this URL, you choose clone or download. You can download zip for the moment. And once that comes down, you can extract that.
The option to open with Visual Studio worked for me.
Say it once more, Ryan.
I said the option to open it directly with Visual Studio from the GitHub website, it worked.
Nice. So, right, and your solutions will be available and carry on from there. Right, so what comes next? So Keisha already said, okay, create this test to read logs. Can you go back to your unit test file, Akash? Well, I guess, so who goes next? Who's going to tell them what happens next?
So we good with
Okay.
going with a integration test here, not necessarily a unit test.
Yeah, a slight mix would be all right. Why do you call it integration test?
This is not a unit test.
Quite clever, sir.
Thank you, Ryan. That's very helpful. So I would stick. I see your call. If you say program dot can read logs, what happens next, Akash?
So I guess the next thing we need to do is well, act, which is call the method on the test.
But do we need to arrange first?
Well, we have kind of arranged with the program. We could, the only other requirement would be the path to the
To the
file.
file, right? Yeah.
Yeah. So I mean, if you want to put it separate, it's fine. It's up to you. Do you have the file somewhere close by, Akash?
So there's no file yet. So I guess
Oh.
we could create one.
Well, I guess you can, yeah. Well, you could just, do that red green refactor wonderful thing that we did.
Okay.
Maybe if you want.
So we just name it test.text and pass it in. And what? Run it.
No, we need to assert. So what we
Oh, yes,
expected.
okay. So this method returns a list of messages if successful.
Yeah. So since it's a simple one, let's assume our file will have one message, and we could just assert that we get back a message. Can we do that? Like the count of messages are equal to 1.
Okay.
Or greater than 1, greater than 0, yeah.
Yeah.
Uh,
So
just note that that part that you put it in there, that'll be running from the context of the unit test application, huh?
yeah.
Not
Yeah.
not the console app.
Yeah. So I guess we could run it and just see it read and make it work. Right, so it failed because there's no file there, right? So we just put the file. And if we look at the format, we have title, message, and timestamp. And so now we can rerun the test, and it still failed.
Yeah, imagine, because timestamp is not a timestamp.
Yeah. So if you look at just timestamp,
Oh, it is.
it's supposed to be a string.
Oh, okay. Good job.
So still, yeah. So why did it fail? Could not find the file.
You need to,
You need to set
Akash.
that file to output now, so.
Yeah, so
Yeah.
just click on it on F4 and copy. No, it's the same. Properties, and yeah, just put copy. There it is.
Okay. So right. So we green.
Science.
Yes. Win. We're done.
Cool.
Yeah, I think so.
So what's the next?
All right. Alan, let's see this on your side.
Oh, okay. All right. should I leave my screen sharing all the time so that I wouldn't have to
Yeah,
wait till
yeah,
for
for
it to
sure.
come back up all the time? Okay, no problem. So I'm just looking at Akash's.
So while we're doing this, you need to kind of keep in mind these solid principles, right? Um, Classes should have a single responsibility. So with the liquid approach, the program that CS essentially had all responsibilities, and we kind of see what that means in terms of building these tests and adding extensions to it, and how that helps in terms of another developer coming on to provide functionality or support to the solution.
So you guys see my screen?
Yeah.
Okay, great. So I already added the test project. Let me see. So what are we testing here? We're going to test the file parser. Is it that? So the thing is, the way it's done, you can test the file parser itself in a similar manner that Akash has done.
Yeah.
You could also test. You could also test the logic around getting notifications and sending them out and that kind of stuff without actually reading from a file. You know.
Yes.
So, for example, in the notifier class, we can actually pass in logs that we create and don't actually have to rely on a file or DB or some XML file to actually test the logic of our application. So that's one of the benefits of the solid approach. We actually improve testability greatly because we build in
So
components.
let me
Sorry.
kind of bring Ryan back in. Ryan, you had said when you were doing Akash's test that really is an integration test because we're involving externalities.
Yeah, we're crossing boundaries.
Yeah. And so this already we see by doing it in this way, as you said, Anand, we avoid that. So it moves more closely to being what we want to have, which is simply unit tests, a test the feature of the application or the code in question.
Yeah. So I guess should I do the integration test similar to Akash or do a
No,
test that?
the unit test, the kind of the goal that
And
we
yeah,
want to get.
make a nice mock class and
So what I would do is I'll create notifier. So what I would probably test is I can send a single message to a. So you guys see any test that I wrote there?
It's long, isn't it?
Yeah, I'm fine with the long. I like the descriptive naming. It's a
Yeah.
personal preference. And well, the underscores is separate. That to me, it's just very readable. And when things fail, you can kind of get a sense of what actually failed very quickly.
Yes.
plus the longer name mean there's more opportunity to misspell stuff.
Yes, and if I did I do
Not
it?
this time.
Wait, that's unfortunate. So this is my test. I'm gonna let you see. So let me do some arrange for you guys. We have different types of notifiers. So I think I have a test notifier somewhere. Oh, I did. Or maybe that was another application I was working on that happened
Yeah.
to send messages.
Nice.
Okay, so I guess we'll have to build one. So what we want to do, we want to test the
Ability to send,
logic,
right?
the logic of sending. So what I'm gonna do, I guess I'm gonna create a new class.
Oh, will it exist somewhere? Oh, you just
No, I
made it.
just yeah, I made it. Sorry if I did it too quickly. I just hit Control dot on the
It was magic.
IDE and chose to generate a new file. Apparently, I can't navigate to it for some reason. Oh, that's amazing. Visual Studio actually knew that I needed to implement Notifier.
That's madness. You could delete it and do it again, boy.
Oh, sure. This is me here, guys. So you guys seen the beautiful squigglies?
Yes.
I'm gonna click generate test notifier in new file. If you see the preview, you could actually see the preview. It have that it implemented
Right.
in the notifier class. So yeah, that's it. So we'll get some errors because we need to implement some stuff. Wow.
Like I'm
This,
seeing you do this, and you're being forced to write a bit more code. But the point of doing this is to kind of help you think about your solution,
yeah.
cover your bases. That's why we write these tests and we go after a particular percentage of test coverage when we do these tests, which reinforces something else. That though it may not be as quick or as easy to write all the code in one file or all the code in one class, you do get the benefit of a more thought out solution.
I think the other issue is, well, in the beginning of you writing code like this, it'll be more work and more difficult. But after a while, it's just gonna be natural. It's gonna be easier, and it's gonna help you. As I say, going on the road, you're gonna be able to change things, do testing and that kind of thing much easier.
Right.
So I'm just gonna, in my test notifier, I'm just gonna track messages that I get sent, I guess. Oh, that's unfortunate. So let me. Oh, this guy, he Step Notifier has a lot of dependencies as well. So let me just see what it needs. So it needs to know, well, who are you going to send the message from?
Right.
And we need to know the title of the email to send out the logs under. So let's see, errors. And it needs a body builder. So what the body builder does is essentially creates the body of the notification based on the error logs that we send it. So I'll
Yes.
just use the existing one because they're not necessarily as important for this test. So I have just arranged. So if you can notice the fact that we passing in the from address, the title of the email,
Yeah.
and body builder, which is a class to do a particular action. We're actually doing some inversion of control or dependency inversion by actually injecting or not allowing the notifier to what would it be? The notifier doesn't have to know about what type of bodybuilder he has to use. So
Yeah, that kind of goes back to SRP, right? You want the
yeah,
notifier to be concerned only with sending a message, not
yeah, exactly.
the message itself, and the other aspects of the parameters you passed in.
Yeah, good stuff. So if so I'm just gonna send me a message. Oh well, I didn't finish setup, so um, we need to send it a collection of logs. So in Akash's test, his test was reading from the file to get the logs
Yeah.
as a test. But this test essentially it divorced the reading of the file from the rest of the application. So we could test the sending functionality separate from actually constructing the logs. So we can actually
Right.
construct the logs here. What type is that?
The whistling you hear, the happy workers inside of Teleios. I'm not sure what they're doing right now,
Yeah,
but it's
but
fun.
Sounds like a troll.
Or it could be a troll.
so I'm not sure if I need to set up all this data, and I'm just not going to add yet. And if the test fails, then we'll fix it.
Yeah.
So send logs, and I also need to set up the list of recipients. So I could also specify to whom I'm sending the notification to as well. And somebody could tell me what I need to assert. Anybody?
Well,
Anybody at all?
if you're tracking the message count, I guess you could assume that the message count increased.
Okay. So we're gonna expect one message, right? And the actual would be. So this is
Notifier dot the messages count.
right. Well, the only issue here is we had
Do you need to actually change the notifier itself? Can you just not cast the notifier while trying to get the message count?
yeah, I could if you want.
As Keisha dealing with you earlier,
Yeah, but it seemed like
telling it to be better.
yeah, but what did I name it? Test notifier.
Yeah.
Just gonna change this because the name annoying me a little bit. So I guess we did things. It might pass and that might be bad. I don't know, but yeah. So this was kind of more than Akash's test in terms of we actually testing this send method. And since we only send in one message, what I would like to do is send more than one message just to ensure that it sends more than one message. So I'm just gonna
So here you can add more logs and carry on.
oh wow, look, it doesn't actually do that. That's great. We only got one.
Nice.
Yeah, I don't know why. So let's get into it. The
And
unfortunate.
what did you do?
Sorry.
Carry on. What did you do?
Oh, I don't know.
I think notifier that send is the culprit here. He only gets called once, right? And as it is
Yeah.
I increment him.
Yeah. There we go. No, but what I did,
You said
I
you
did
need to
it.
say
No, well, I override notify, which gets called by send. So it should do it for everyone. If you let me take a look at notifier here. So in the send method, we actually go through we go through the recipients. Oh, I see what happened.
there you go. Right.
What the I guess it's based on how we thought of the problem. So the issue would be the problem wasn't very specific. It was kind of open ended. So we just kind of interpreted it as we liked. So how the solution actually works is it takes all the logs and sends one notification. So if you have 50 logs, you're gonna get one notification. So if I
No,
actually
but your
want,
test, everything here is living in beauty, you know. Come back to the test, right? Your
okay,
test is evaluating. If you look at the title of your test, can send it. The
multiple
point of
messages.
it shouldn't even be called multiple messages because you are actually exercising notifier, isn't it?
Yes. Yeah.
The whole thing is you're sending something.
Yeah.
So maybe the test needs to be modified. At least in title needs to be modified a little bit.
Yeah, of course. That is, as I said, it would have been a misunderstanding. So we can send to multiple recipients. That's what we can actually do, as opposed to sending multiple
Notifications
notifications. Yeah.
to the same recipient. So instead of adding multiple logs, you would actually add multiple recipients and be fine.
Yeah.
Well, you believe in these test names, way. This is amazing.
So what we'll do is not send that, and we'll send a couple more to a couple of people, right? Everybody has email addresses at istar.com.
Gosh, just over here said he doesn't know how he feels about that.
Okay. So the test pass. So we can actually send a single log to multiple recipients. I don't know what I did there.
All right, groovy. Let's kind of swing back to those requirements. Thank you, Anand. And I want to jump to. So let me just share my screen. So I'll leave the test alone for the moment, and let's talk about enable reading a log to. I have reading a log to the event log. That's wrong. It should be reading a log from the event log. So Akash, let's swing across to your solution. Let's see how you would do that.
Okay. So we're back into liquid land, and we want to read logs from the event log. So I don't have much event log experience, so somebody else will need to guide me along here.
Well, just kind of show us where you would need to go to modify your code to get that working.
Oh, well, right here in program.cs, good old one class. So we need logs from event log.
So you would go into program.cs, add the methods there, and be done.
Yeah, boom bang.
So that principle inside of open for extension, close for modification is not something that you care about really.
Not in the mindset of getting it to work. So once it works, I could probably pull out things and fancy things up, but getting it to work is my main priority for Liquid.
Well, number one, I muted you, Owen, because he was getting feedback from Akash. But how
No.
how I would have handled it, I guess you guys seen my machine or my VS. So what I would have done to add um a new type of error log reader, basically. I would come to my parsers folder here and add a new ilog parser
Yeah.
class. And wherever setting up my application, I would create an instance of that event log parser type. So let me see if I can do it quickly so you guys can see. Well, I guess I can show you in this test console here. Or you want to see? Yeah, that looks more confusing for most. So we'll be back in the test. What I'll do. Create a new log parser and anchor event log. I did that fancy thing again.
Yes. So now we have an event log parser class, but wouldn't that be the end? I mean, you're writing the method, but can you show us the class I just created?
Sure. So we need to implement the one as function, and you put all your code related to event log reading. I guess the event log something.
Yeah. And you're done.
And in terms of coding, yeah. So you didn't have to go into the same program, that CS file, as Akash had to do. And just for the audience, Akash actually wrote both liquid and solid. So it's not like Akash, do subscribe to the principles. I just want to make it clear.
That is true. That is true.
So, but you would simply have to add this, and wherever you decided on what type of parsing you want to do is where you'd specify this class as the concrete implementation.
Very cool.
Yeah.
I guess I don't think you necessarily need to write it out now, the test, but you can if you so desire. The thing that stood out to me is while doing this, sometimes, so the solid principles have been around for a long time, and I found myself reading, and I guess reading on the other side, if there is another side, looking for that perspective that essentially says solid is always the time, do the solid. Just write it as you understand it as quickly as you can and move on.
Well,
go ahead.
Well, I guess you could finish your point. I didn't realize you was continuing. So you could finish your point, and I'll just jump in with what I wanted to say.
In that reading, so there's a really good article on it. I'll probably share it later on some medium. Really good article about why solid SRP and the whole notion of responsibility. So when you read about the single responsibility principle, one of the points made is that if a class has to change for more than one reason, you need to break it into multiple classes. So a class should have a single reason to change, and that sort of approach to responsibility and reasoning had at least one well-known developer complaining on up in arms. There was perspectives shared, and one of them shared on Hacker News about that article the developer wrote. Said, you need to understand the machine, the computer doesn't really care about what the code is. The computer will run whatever code is written. the computer, if it's tightly coupled or not, it will run as long as it compiles fine and so on. The whole point around taking this approach is to enable humans who read code and humans who interact with software development systems to easily, if not easily, communicate well according to a particular pattern, a particular standard. If it is that a human has to dive into program CS to find out everything, find out how things work, then it might take quite a while to ramp up to begin to maintain that solution. Whereas a human who
Yeah.
understands that software is written according to solid principles, that person may have an easier go modifying the solution as written in a solid way and extending it and adding more value to it. So those are two perspectives I found coming out of reading about this that was useful.
Yeah. So well, coming out of what you're saying, so I think Akash would have mentioned this. Akash, you can correct me if I'm wrong. You're saying like, well, if it's for you, if you were writing this code for yourself and yourself alone, you would have done it perhaps the what we call in the liquid way, which is not solid, basically. But when you have to work on a team and other people have to understand. So you could imagine when program.cs gets to 3,000 lines of code and you have to fix something in there. Um, and you're going to be so afraid to change anything lest it destroys other things. The good thing with the single responsibility and the dependency inversion is we get a control. Well, okay, we're going to change this one thing, and because of all as well, because of the other principle, which is Liskov substitution principle, which is, well, all your implementations of an interface or abstract class have to act in the same way. We would expect the behavior not to change when you make a change to some component. So all of the principles actually play well together and going to help you to write some code that will stand up. And it probably not going to be the best code and not going to make your code amazing, but you're going to have some kind of reassurance that when you change something, you're not going to affect other things as much. That's not what I was going to say before, but I forget what I was going to say, and then that's the end of that.
And that came out, and that's really good stuff. Thank you very much, Anand and Akash, for being the drivers in today's Teleios Power Hour live session on solid software development principles. Thank you everyone else for joining us. This was really good, and I am glad that it allows us to take some time and explore the nitty-gritty in terms of what makes us write better and better code. So this has been another edition of Teleios Power Hour. Stay tuned for the next time, which will be sometime soon.